series, Game 2 between Underrated Gaming versus vVv here on MLG Entombed Valley. Protoss versus Protoss, and I don't remember, is it forced cross spawns on this particular version?
I believe it is forced cross spawns. Like, I think I had to Google last time, and I've since forgotten since it's been a few weeks. But yeah, like you said,
Oh,
matchup. Nope, there you go. So all spawns here possible on this MLG Entombed Valley, and looks like we've got the vVv player Hasu, winner of Game 1, spawning as the green Protoss in the southeast corner, and we've got Frost or Frosticles, as is his name is there, for Underrated Gaming, spawning as the blue Protoss in the northeast corner. So Underrated Gaming down 1-0. They need to come back and even this thing up.
alright, so yes, it is going to be Frost versus Hasu, green versus blue. Frost apparently doing a shout out to the boys. I don't know who the boys are, but I'm a boy, you're a boy, so thank you, Frost, as the game does get underway. Let's keep the production tab open and really see when these players start to differ in terms of their builds. Right now, Frost does have a slight probe advantage. It looks like the pylons will be completed near simultaneously, and now both players also chrono boosting out. So if it is the same build, then they are currently neck and neck.
It's interesting, neither player scouting after that pylon. Typically in PvP, we see the scout come after the gateway, or it looks like even a little bit later sometimes. But on a 4-player map, it's going to be good to scout at a certain point to be able to see what your opponent's doing. If they're doing some sort of cheese in the center of the map, you need to know that. If they're going for heavy gas play, you have to be able to prepare and scout it a little bit later to see what they're going for tech-wise. Looks like Frost has sent out his scout. He's going to guess correctly and scout Hasu right away. Hasu has yet to send out a scout though, so he's going to have no idea where Frost is unless he knows the timing of scouts coming from different directions. He could try to guess where an opponent's coming from, but we'll see if he puts that connection together a little bit and knows that Frost is at a close position.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this is all going to work out. Hasu may believe or may think that this is forced cross spawn, so that's why he hasn't really scouted out yet.
True.
And if he does think it's forced cross spawns, he's going to be in for a really rude awakening as he reveals to his opponent that he is going for a second assimilator already. So it is going to be a 2-gas opening coming in from Hasu. Meanwhile, Frosticles has not established his second assimilator as of yet, so he will have a little bit more minerals, but at what cost? Nope. There it is. There's that follow-up. And Frost also has a slight supply advantage at 21 compared to 20.
Yeah, and be interesting to see how the chrono boost is used for both players. Already we see one chrono boost coming out from each player on the cybernetic score. And sometimes, you know, they start chrono boosting out that gateway to get out an early stalker, have a presence on the map, and sometimes you spend all your chrono boost on that gateway, cybernetic score tech, or warp gate tech, excuse me, to, you know, get out gate or warp gates just a little bit faster. You can be 5 seconds ahead on production cycle, and that can be a big deal in a 4-gate versus 4-gate.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see what's going to happen next. It looks like the probe is just going to hold the center Zonaga tower there. A probe is going to back off. We are getting a stalker by Hasu. Hasu wanting to make sure that there are no proxy pylons anywhere in his neck of the woods. Going to move around with the stalker now as Hasu is continuing to train up more stalkers. But we see a robotics facility coming into play. And Frost, if he goes for observers into immortals, will have a very easy time taking down these stalkers.
Yeah, and it looks like you said, the robotics facility coming up for Frost, so he's going to be a little bit more tech-heavy. He's going to be trying to stay safe here with the sentry on the high ground, so we will have you know, that energy banked on the sentry. He's going to have a force field, probably 2 by the time that Hasu gets over here. Hasu doing a nice job. He's going to be scouting here. He's going to see that sentry, and that's a pretty big tell. If your opponent's going for 4-gate pressure or early pressure, oftentimes you don't see a sentry there, but the sentry means tech, means defensive play, and now Hasu has an expansion going down. He knows that his opponent is teching after that scout, and an expansion going out for Frost as well, so pretty mirror in this mirror matchup so far.
Yeah, I really like how Hasu just gleaned so much information from seeing that one sentry. Hasu, knowing in a Protoss versus Protoss mirror match, he has 2 sentries of his own, so perhaps he guessed it, and now with his Nexus up just slightly faster, he'll be able to transfer off probes and perhaps get a slight economic boost as well. Hasu, you gotta remember, didn't scout nearly as early, and because he didn't, he should have a little bit more minerals, and we'll see if it really translates into anything, as Hasu's probe's currently getting harassed at the Xel'Naga Tower.
Yeah, so one of the big differences here is Frost went for that robotics facility right away, so he's going to have an observer in the base of Hasu in about 30, 20, about 15 seconds here. The observer making its way across, now seeing the natural. Now the difference, getting that observer out cost him a little bit in the army count, as we do see that Hasu has 3 stalkers and 3 sentries, out to just the 1 stalker, the zealot, the 2 sentries, and the immortal for Frost. So if Hasu was going for any sort of pressure, it might have cost him to really cut units early and go for that robotics, but since Hasu is going for the expansion here, doesn't hurt Frost all that much, and now he's going to be able to tech up maybe a little bit faster than his opponent.
All right, we'll see if he's able. No, it looks as though Hasu has a good idea that there's an observer inside his base, but he can't quite find it. The observer is doing a little bit of a dance. They do pass by each other, but that observer will be able to retreat and run all the way back home. But no real reason to park an observer in a location where you already see, unless you need detection, as the armies are about to move out 3 stalkers.
And on the production tab, we see
What the?
2 robotics bays coming out for Frost. So he's placed down double of the same building. They don't really help you unless you're researching double upgrades. So if he allows this one to finish, it's going to be a lot of minerals and gas he's really wasting. It's about to finish.
Yeah, this is going to be a real just oops on the part of Frost, unless he tries to go for warp prism research exactly at the same time. But with only 1 robotics facility, he's not really going to be, saving the resources at just the right moment there and getting out of Colossus.
Wow, really close timing there for Frost, so avoids a pretty early mistake. He does lose some of those resources canceling, but not going to hurt him too bad. And again, both players pretty mirrored at this point. We do see that Frost ducking in here with an observer into the natural, and he's feeling pretty safe. He knows the observer has left for Hasu, so he's going to try to get a Colossi count. You don't want to engage if you're down in the War of the Worlds Colossi count, as we see a lot of times. One player will have 5, the other will have 3 or 4, and it does not go well for the player who has fewer Colossi. So having the scout, the observer in there is definitely key for when you want to push out and attack.
All right, so Colossus now coming out, more pylons being warped in. We are going into the Forge weapons upgrades, and both of these players now looking to take their 3rd base, it appears. Hasu taking down these destructible rocks. You could walk over a probe and start warping in that nexus a little bit earlier. There is an observer over here by Hasu, so Hasu will know when exactly Frost tries to take his natural 3rd, and in just a matter of seconds.
Yeah, we do still see Hasu has this Xel'Naga tower, and he's got observers in the base of Frost, like you said, so he's got a lot of good information. Frost isn't going to be able to push out without him knowing, and we do see that Frost is checking all the points on the map for hidden expansions, and I think that's really smart of him. If Hasu had hidden a 3rd rather than taking the pretty obvious 3rd, which he just did, it could definitely be big for a Protoss and a mirror matchup like this. If you're able to squeak out a little bit more economy, 1 extra base, it's just huge.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen now. Frost is getting up some additional gateways, just got him into warp gate tech. He may be trying to do a little bit of a push. He does have a 2nd forge now, which may start level 1 armor upgrades, but we see that Hasu is going into double Colossi production off of 2 robotics facility, and that's really going to help him out in the War of the Worlds, as you mentioned, as he'll have 5 Colossi to 3 in the natural situations.
Yeah, that is so huge. If your opponent doesn't counter with double Colossi production of his own, or if he doesn't use that gas that you're using on double Colossi to get up, upgrades or Archons or something that gives him the edge, it can be pretty big once you do decide to go for that double robotics. And the fact that this 3rd base is about to finish for Hasu is actually really going to give him the opportunity to pump double Colossi without cutting too much else. You can still get some Stalkers, still get some Zealots out. So we'll see when these 2 players choose to engage. Right now they're just using their observers to glean as much information as possible. Frost is pushing out to the center with his, looks like 2 Colossi to the 5 of Hasu, so he wants no piece of this right now.
All right, we'll see what's going to happen now. Did Frost actually count the Colossi is the key question. 5 Colossi, very, very scary. A Void Rays would be a natural choice, though, as Hasu doesn't have that many Stalkers, but he can instantly train up a fair number of them in order to shoot them down. And that's going to be the key question, as I think, are Void Rays the natural counter to Colossi?
Yeah, I think you just pump up the Stalkers a little bit. You get Blink, and you can Blink in there and start focusing them down with splash damage. Going Void Rays, it takes a while to get up enough of them to do damage, and they have to get pretty close to the Colossi. Once you have extended thermal lance, they can stay in the back. So I'm not sure we'll see that tech switch coming from either player. Actually, you might be right, as the Stargate coming in for Frost. So we'll see if he does decide to go for Void Rays if they pay off.
Yeah, Void Rays do deal additional damage to Massive, so the damage actually goes into almost 60 to 70 per second. If I'm remembering all of my calculations correctly, on a fully charged Void Ray. And the Void Ray also has the benefit of being able to attack while moving. So that's going to help, as we are now going into the Gravitic boosters. And normally when I cast a Protoss versus Protoss mirror match, I think 4-gate variations, I think a lot of early aggressions, but this is all about, okay, I'm going to let you get up to 200, 200, you'll let me get up to 200, 200, and then we'll have this monstrous, glorious battle on the battlefield right now. As I don't think anyone has lost, no one's lost over 1,000 resources. And the only reason why Frost really lost a lot was because he had to cancel a robotics bay and lose 50 minerals, 50 gas.
So there's going to be 10 gateways finishing up for Hasu in just a moment to just the 5 of Frost. So if these guys do engage, they've got pretty healthy economies at this point, 72 to 67 harvesters. So healthy saturation on 3 bases. Oh, here's a fleet beacon coming down from Frost. So not going to be going for Void Rays, instead going either carriers or Mothership. We'll see what comes out from him. But like I was saying, the added gateways for Hasu really going to help him recharge after a big battle. And I see PvP is all the time, if you do not add gateways, if you do not scale up your production to match your economy, you can fall behind very quickly after a big battle. Yeah,
the only really bad situation for Hasu right now is that he is behind in terms of armor. He's just now finishing, or he's just now starting level 1, while his opponent is finishing level 2. So if there is an engagement, it will be 2-0 versus 2-2 units right now. So Hasu needs to try to delay this, but he will be able to replenish his units much more quickly. As you mentioned, he has the additional warp gate, and he's also taking up his 4th base over here at the center 6 o'clock location, which should definitely help him out. But, you know, they're at the food cap. One more pylon should be it. And now with a mothership coming in, what was that? Frost accidentally attacked one of his own Colossi and got it down to 51 hit points.
Oh, wow. Could be a big mistake there if that goes down early in the next battle. If we check out the Colossi count, it is 7 to 7. So Hasu got out the double robotics, but then he sort of let up on his Colossi production, instead going for a lot of Zealots here. They do have charge, as well as some Archons, so it's going to be busting down shields. And with this army composition, he really wants an open engagement, a really huge battle in the center of the map, for instance, where those Archons and Zealots can just get a big surround, sort of like Zerglings. And if he attacks up a ramp or into this mothership, it's going to be really tough for him.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. Hasu has 1 observer and 1 observer only in this army group, and that's going to be really, really deadly, as Zealots are now running into the mineral line at the 3rd base. An engagement at the front. There is the Colossi trying to chase. The mothership is a little bit slow, but the Zealots have dealt a lot of damage already. 10 workers killed, and now going into the gas line. If he can take down these pylons or perhaps some of these production buildings, this may be enough damage, as we are now going to get into a little bit of a flank. The Zealots are charging straight into the extended thermal lance range, and really Hasu is kiting this entire army and doing a great job making sure the mothership is too far behind to really do anything.
Yeah, it's going to be all Colossi left in this army by the time these two really do fight it out, and so many banked resources for both players, but Hasu's got the huge advantage. The mothership being caught out of position here, and now all these Colossi will be uncloaked, and now a great spread from Hasu. All the Frostical Colossi are clumped together, taking a lot of AoE damage, and the game, I think, is over right here, Crota.
Yeah, right there, we still see 6 Colossi standing tall for Hasu. Colossi are coming over to reinforce. The Zealots now making their way. Hasu can pretty much attack, move. No, what is he doing? He's actually losing a lot more than he needs to. He needs to regroup all of his units together and perhaps take down a lot of these probes. These probes are all just going to get sliced and diced. Zealots are getting taken out. the Colossi are going to do a little bit of that stutter step. If they can walk down the ramp, that will be enough, as the Colossi of Frost trying to finish off the last lone Colossus of Hasu, as Zealots are now going to look to start to engage as well, but the Colossus giving in a lot of splash damage.
Yeah, just too many reinforcements going to come here from Hasu. He's going to try to protect that one Colossi that does have 9 kills, and if you've got Zealots on one side and Zealots and Colossi on the other, the Colossi side is going to win every time. Frost doing his best to come back in this one, morphing some Archons, coming out with a few Colossi of his own, even, wow, a Mothership about to finish for Hasu, so both players pretty similar tech-wise here, but just so much damage done to the economy so far by Hasu. Once again, it's 84 Harvesters to 45, 174 to 78, and this one's going to be over in just a moment.
Yeah, Hasu at any point, he has, I believe, 19 gateways, unless I'm missing any. That means with 19 gateways, he could instantly train 38 food worth of units in 5 seconds. And I don't care. Hasu gets up to 200, he dies. I think it takes longer than 5 seconds to lose 38 food, and we'll see what's going to be happening now as Frost just moving around with his Archons, hoping that his Archons will be enough. His Archons are upgraded 313. We are starting to see shield upgrades, as we are also going into the Gravitic Drive from Hasu. So perhaps Hasu trying to get every robotics facility upgrade, hoping for faster observers and maybe even faster warp prisms just to have them move more quickly.
There are a lot of observers out for Hasu right now. He's got 4 of them, so he wants to make sure that he's able to defend against the Mothership. Just 1 observer right now for Frost, so if that's focused down by Hasu, he's not going to be able to get to these cloaked units, and especially with all these ground units, these Colossi and Zealots, as we got another big engagement here. Sort of a bad position for Hasu up this ramp. That's not where he wants to be, but I think he's just going to have too much here, especially as the Mothership does come in, cloaking these units, and now Hasu doing a cleanup job here on the remaining forces of Frost. Frost down to 57 food, doing his best valiantly to stay in this one, but there's the GG. Hasu puts vVv Gaming up 2-0.